Hey guys, I'm just getting set up again. Give me one quick second, and I'll be also sharing the overall audio. Hopefully, we got it working this time. Paging Jose. Yep. All right. So we're here. Sorry, my other meeting ran a little bit longer.
For resolution capabilities, which are getting adopted at an accelerating pace.
Do you
More
guys
than
hear the audio?
200 games and applications now support NVIDIA RTX, including 125 with NVIDIA DLSS. This quarter alone, 45 new games shipped with DLSS. And NVIDIA Reflex latency reducing technology is in top esports titles, including Valorant, Fortnite, Apex Legends, and Overwatch. In addition, the Reflex ecosystem continues to grow, with Reflex technology now integrated in almost 50 gaming peripherals. NVIDIA Studio for creators keeps expanding. Last month at the Adobe Max Creativity Conference, Adobe announced two powerful AI features for Adobe Lightroom and Lightroom Classic, accelerated by NVIDIA RTX GPUs. In addition, several of our partners launched new studio systems, including Microsoft, HP, and Asus. We estimate that a quarter of our installed base has adopted RTX GPUs. Looking ahead, we expect continued upgrades as well as growth from NVIDIA GeForce users, given rapidly expanding RTX support and the growing popularity of gaming, esports, content creation, and streaming. Our GPUs are capable of crypto mining, though we don't have visibility into how much this impacts our overall GPU demand. In Q3, nearly all of our Ampere architecture gaming desktop GPU shipments were light hash rate to help steer GeForce supply to gamers. Crypto mining processor revenue was $105 million, which is included in our OEM and other. Our cloud gaming service, GeForce Now, has two major achievements this quarter. First, Electronic Arts brought more of its hit games to the service. And second, we announced a new GeForce Now RTX 3080 membership tier priced at less than $100 for 6 months. GeForce Now membership has more than doubled in this last year to over 14 million gamers that are streaming content from 30 data centers in more than 80 countries. Moving to Pro Visualization.
Hey man, what do you mean? What are my thoughts on November 19th call?
$577 million was up 11% sequentially and up 144% from the year-ago quarter. The sequential rise was led by mobile workstations, with desktop workstations also growing, as enterprise deployed systems
One thing I want to show you guys real quick is this is Steam's hardware.
Building on the strong initial ramp in Q2.
It shows Nvidia's market share in the gaming department. And you can see most of the cards still being used by gamers are GTX 1000 series or the 2000 series. So there's still a huge demand for the 3000 series for gamers. It's just right now there's just not the there's not the supply for them. So this is why we're still seeing strong growth in the gaming department. And even if crypto kind of takes a hit, there's still that huge demand from gamers. I just want to mention that.
Including BMW, Ericsson, Lockheed Martin, and Sony Pictures. More than 70,000 individual creators have downloaded Omniverse since the open beta launch in December. There are approximately 40 million 3D designers in the global market. Moving to automotive. Q3 revenue of $135 million declined 11% sequentially and increased 8% from the year-ago quarter. The sequential decline was primarily driven by AI cockpit revenue, which has negatively been impacted by automotive manufacturers' supply constraints. We announced that self-driving truck startup Kodiak Robotics, automaker Lotus, autonomous bus manufacturers Keycraft, and EV startup WM Motor have adopted the NVIDIA Drive Orin platform for their next generation vehicles. They join a large and rapidly growing list of companies adopting and developing on NVIDIA Drive.
I think it was pretty interesting that they mentioned that Lockheed, which is an aero and defense company, downloaded Omniverse. I think I heard that, if I heard that correctly. That's a pretty interesting market for them to be joining.
Record revenue of $2.9 billion grew 24% sequentially and 55% from the year-ago quarter, with record revenue across both hyperscale and vertical industries. Strong growth was led by hyperscale customers, fueled by continued rapid adoption of Ampere architecture Tensor Core GPUs for both internal and external workloads. Hyperscale compute revenue doubled year on year, driven by the scale out of natural language processing and recommender models and cloud computing. Vertical industry growth was also strong, led by consumer internet and broader cloud providers. For example, Oracle Cloud deployed NVIDIA GPUs for its launch of AI services, such as text analysis, speech recognition, computer vision, and anomaly detection. We continue to achieve exceptional growth in inference, which again...
Also, for those not familiar, here in NVIDIA's data center, you see a lot of their software departments, like things that deal with the healthcare, cybersecurity, and all those products. So that's why we're seeing strong growth there. So it's not only adoption of their hardware, it's also an adoption of their software, which is seeing strong growth.
Compute-intensive inference workloads, such as large language models, to scale across multiple GPUs and nodes with real-time performance. Over 25,000 companies worldwide use NVIDIA AI inference. A great new example is Microsoft Teams, which has nearly 250 million monthly active users. It uses NVIDIA AI to convert speech to text real-time during video calls in 28 languages in a cost-effective way. We reached 3 milestones to help drive more mainstream enterprise adoption of NVIDIA AI. First, we announced the general availability of NVIDIA AI Enterprise, our comprehensive software suite of AI tools and frameworks that enables the hundreds of thousands of companies running vSphere to virtualize AI workloads on NVIDIA certified systems. Second, VMware announced a future update to vSphere with Tanzu that is fully optimized for NVIDIA AI. When it's combined with NVIDIA AI Enterprise, enterprises can efficiently manage cloud-native AI development and deployment on mainstream.
So guys, why are you most excited about their earnings right now? I think just that data center growth is probably my favorite. And then the whole adoption of pretty much every big player, Microsoft and everybody else that you just mentioned on it.
Infrastructure partner. NVIDIA Launchpad is now available in 9 locations worldwide, providing enterprises with immediate access to NVIDIA software and infrastructure to help them prototype and test data science and AI workloads. Launchpad features NVIDIA certified systems and NVIDIA DGX systems running the entire NVIDIA AI software stack. In networking, revenue was impacted as demand outstripped supply. We saw momentum toward higher speed and new generation products, including ConnectX 5 and 6. We announced the NVIDIA Quantum 2 400 gigabit per second end-to-end networking platform, consisting of the Quantum 2 switch, the ConnectX 7 network adapter, and the Bluefield 3 DPU. The NVIDIA Quantum 2 switch is available from a wide range of leading infrastructure and system vendors.
Yeah, and this is one thing that I enjoy so much about NVIDIA is that Mellanox acquisition coming in with strong networking products like the Quantum 2. This is something that I think is going to be needed by numerous data centers. So it was a great move for them with the Quantum 2.
On the list, including over 90% of all new systems, and 23 of the top 25 most energy efficient systems. Turning to GTC. Last week, we hosted our GPU Technology Conference, which had over 270,000 registered attendees. Jensen's keynote has been viewed 25 million times over the past 8 days. While our spring GTC focused on new chips and systems, this edition focused on software, demonstrating our full computing stack. Let me cover some of the highlights. Our vision for Omniverse came to life at GTC. We significantly expanded its ecosystem and announced
Did any of
new
you guys watch the
capabilities.
GTC? If not, I
Omniverse
recommend. There's like I
Replicator
think like
is
a
an
10-minute
engine
of
for
highlights.
producing
Definitely
data
pretty
to
cool to
train
watch.
robots. Replicator augments real-world data with massive, diverse, and physically accurate synthetic data sets to help accelerate development of high-quality, high-performance AI.
What I'm really here for is the overall Q&A
domains.
section, right? Because everything they're talking
NVIDIA
about right
Omniverse
now,
Avatar is our platform.
it's pretty much what we are reading here, right? There's nothing important here. The Q&A, that's where as investors we should really focus in.
Including speech AI, computer vision, natural language understanding, recommendation engines, and simulation. Applications including automated customer service, virtual collaboration, and content creation. Replicator and Avatar join several other announced features and capabilities for Omniverse, including AI, AR, VR, and simulation-based technology.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. In their Omniverse platform, you're able to kind of create your own avatar. I'm actually I want to see how that works. I might start learning a little bit more about Omniverse and see if I can create my own AI avatar and what kind of concept or hardware I need to do that.
And robotics. One of the SDKs is our first core licensed AI model, NVIDIA Riva, for building conversational AI applications. Companies using Riva during the open beta include RingCentral for video conference live captioning and Ping An for customer service chatbots. NVIDIA pod infrastructure. This combination brings together production-ready, enterprise-grade hardware and software to help vertical industries develop language and industry-specific chatbots, personal assistants, content generation.
Oh, I was just saying, if you're a developer and you want to learn about the Omniverse, you can just sign up as a developer, and they usually accept you, and you can kind of play around with all their SDKs.
Bluefield Doka 1.2, the latest version of our DPU programming layer, with new cybersecurity capabilities. Doka is to our DPUs as CUDA is to our GPUs. It enables developers to build applications and services on top of our Bluefield DPUs. Our new capabilities make Bluefield the ideal platform for the industry to build their own zero-trust security platforms. The leading cybersecurity company.
And this is what's great about NVIDIA, right? All these chips, they are used for different purposes. So for example, the DPU is going to be a chip that's mainly focused in this kind of cybersecurity platform. Like if you're really trying to focus on that market, those kind of chips will be super strong for you to improve that platform.
AI computing platform for medical instruments to improve decision-making tools in areas such as robo-assisted surgery, interventional radiology, and radiation therapy planning. Other new or expanded SDKs or libraries unveiled at GTC include REOPT for AI-optimized logistics, Quantum for quantum computing, Morpheus for cybersecurity, Modulus for physical-based machine learning, and Numeric, a data center scale math library to bring
Josh B, I 100% agree, right? The only reason to hold NVIDIA is for that 4-cent share dividend.
All in, NVIDIA's computing platform continues to expand as a broadening set of SDKs enable more and more GPU-accelerated applications and industry use cases. CUDA has been downloaded 30 million times, and our developer ecosystem is now nearing 3 million strong. The applications they develop on top of our SDKs and the cloud-to-edge computing platform are helping to
this is just a great example of how NVIDIA is just becoming more than just a hardware company, right? All the SDKs that they approve really improves their overall software
logistics,
solutions. And we can
and
see a
retail.
lot of companies from cybersecurity.
In automotive, we announced
Automobile
Nvidia
are
Drive
using
Concierge and Drive Chauffeur, AI software platforms that enhance a vehicle's performance, features, and safety. Drive Concierge, built on Omniverse Avatar, functions as an AI-based in-vehicle personal assistant, but enables automatic parking summoning capabilities. It also enhances safety by monitoring the driver throughout the duration of the trip. Drive Chauffeur offers autonomous capabilities, relieving the driver of constantly having to control the car. It will also perform address-to-address driving when combined
price is up
with
about
Drive
4.5% right now.
For robotics, we announced Jetson AGX Orin, the world's smallest, most powerful, and energy-efficient AI supercomputer for robotics, autonomous machines, and embedded computing at the edge. Built on our Ampere architecture, Jetson AGX Orin provides 6x the processing power of its predecessor and delivers 200 trillion operations per second, similar to a GPU-enabled server that fits into the palm of your hand. Jetson AGX Orin will be available in the first quarter of
Now, Vico, you got me curious.
2022.
I'm trying to check my average price right now.
Finally, we revealed plans to build Earth 2, the world's most powerful AI supercomputer dedicated to confronting climate change. The system would be the climate change counterpart to Cambridge One, the UK's most powerful AI supercomputer that we built for healthcare research. Earth 2 harnesses all the technologies we've invented up to this moment. Let me discuss ARM. I'll provide you a brief update on our proposed acquisition of ARM. ARM with Nvidia is a great opportunity for the industry and customers. With Nvidia's scale, capabilities, and robust understanding of data center computing, acceleration, and AI, we can assist ARM in expanding their reach into data center, IoT, and PCs, and advance ARM's IP for decades to come. The combination of our companies can enhance competition in the industry as we work together on further building the world of AI. Regulators at the US FTC have expressed concerns regarding the transaction, and we are engaged in discussions with them regarding remedies to address those concerns. The transaction has been under review by China's antitrust authority, pending the formal case initiation. Regulators in the UK and the EU have declined to action in phase one of the
They declined to
reviews
what?
on
Yo, it
competition
broke off at the
concerns.
perfect moment.
In the UK, they have also voiced national security concerns. We have begun the phase two process in the EU and UK jurisdictions. Despite these concerns and those raised by some ARM licensees, we continue to believe in the merits and the benefits of the acquisition to ARM, to its licensees, and the industry. We believe these concerns and those raised by some ARM licensees. We continue to believe in the merits and benefits of the ARM acquisition. Moving to the rest of the P&L.
And this is what back then their tone in acquisition was like, yes, we're gonna get it done. Now their tone in the acquisition is like, if it happened, it's gonna be a huge benefit for the world. They're no longer saying that it's gonna happen. So for me, the chances of this ARM acquisition happening are even lower than I originally expected.
By growth in our data center Ampere architecture products, which is particularly offset by a mix in gaming. Non-gaming gross margin was up 150 basis points from a year earlier and up 30 basis points sequentially. Q3 GAAP EPS was 97 cents, 83% from a year earlier non-GAAP EPS was $1.17, up 60% from a year ago, adjusting for our stock split. Q3 cash flow from operations was $1.5 billion, up from $1.3 billion a year earlier and down from $2.7 billion in the prior quarter. The year-on-year increase primarily
Robert,
reflects
really, I don't know why I really wasn't following too much the Mellanox deal. Was it very
for long-term supply agreements? Let me turn
doubtful,
to
Robert?
the outlook for the fourth quarter of fiscal 2022. We expect sequential growth to be driven by data center and gaming, more than offsetting a decline in CMP. Revenue is expected to be $7.4 billion, plus or minus 2%.
That's very bullish.
GAAP and
They're still
non-GAAP
very
gross
bullish in
margins
data
are
centers
expected to
and
be
gaming for next quarter.
65.3% and 67%, respectively, plus or minus 50 basis points. GAAP and non-GAAP operating expenses are expected to be approximately $2.02 billion and $1.43 billion, respectively. GAAP and non-GAAP other income and expenses are both expected to be an expense of approximately $60 million.
I wonder if analysts are going to ask questions about like, hey, have you guys seen an increase of revenue now with the talks of metaverse and all that?
Are both
I
expected
think
to be
one
11%,
analyst is going to at least say the word metaverse in their question.
Excluding discrete items. Capital expenditures are expected to be approximately $250 million to $275 million. Further financial details are included in the CFO commentary. Other information is also available on our IR.
Yeah, I saw that, Robert, right? If it doesn't go through, they have to still pay like a $2 billion that they would lose.
We will be attending the Credit Suisse 25th Annual Technology Conference in person on November 30th. We will also be at the Wells Fargo 5th Annual TMT Summit virtually on December 1st, the UBS Global TMT Virtual Conference on December 6th, and the Deutsche Bank Virtual Auto Tech Conference on December 9th. Our earnings call to discuss our fourth quarter and fiscal year 2022 results is scheduled for Wednesday, February 16th. With that, we will now.
Yeah, we already got earnings date for February 15th. Isn't that the day after Valentine's Day?
Yes, and at this time, I would like to remind everyone, in order to ask a question, press
Either
star
Nvidia is going to
1
break my heart on quarter 4 or
on
it's
your
going
telephone
to be
keypad.
my
We'll
new
pause
true
for
love.
just a moment to compile the Q&A roster. For our first question, we have Aaron Rakers from Wells Fargo. Aaron, your line's open.
Yeah, thanks for taking the question and congratulations on the results. I guess I wanted to ask about Omniverse. Obviously, a lot of excitement around that. You know, I guess the simple question is, Jensen, how do you define success in Omniverse as we look out over the next, let's call it 12 months? And how do we think about the subscription license opportunity for Omniverse? I know you've talked about 40 million total 3D designers. I think that actually is double what you talked about back in August. So I'm just curious of how we as financial analysts should start to think about that opportunity materializing.
That's actually a great question.
Thanks. Omniverse success will be defined by number one, developer engagement, connections with developers around the world. Two, applications being developed by enterprises. Three, the connection of designers and creators among themselves. Those are the nearest term, and I would say that in months, type of.
That's a great thing, right? Right now, Omniverse is still brand new. What's
near
important
term
to
also
see is
should
user
be
growth,
revenue.
like Jensen said,
and
also the applications that are being programmed to work with it.
Real immediate applications, as I demonstrated at the keynote, and I'll highlight a few of them right now. One of them, of course, is that it serves as a way to connect 3D and digital design worlds. Think of Adobe as a world. Think of Autodesk as a world. Think of Revit as a world. These are design worlds in the sense that people are doing things in it, they're creating things in it, and it has its own database. we made it possible for these worlds to be connected for the very first time, and for it to be shared like a cloud document. That's not been possible ever before. And you can now share work with each other, you could see each other's work, you could collaborate. And so in the world of remote working, Omniverse's collaboration capability is going to be really appreciated. And that should happen
In all
right
honesty,
away.
if technology
like
world
to see
continues
that
to
happen
grasp the
in very
real-time
near terms.
3D solution market,
And,
I
and
can
that
kind of see a
drives,
future
that
where
drives
NVIDIA buys Unity
of
as
course,
an acquisition.
more PC sales, more GPU sales, more workstation sales, more server sales. The second use case is digital twins. And you saw examples of how several companies, Ericsson using Omniverse to create a digital twin of a city, so that they could optimize radio placements and radio energy used for beamforming. You saw BMW using it for their factories. You're going to see people using it for logistics warehouse, to plan and to optimize their warehouses and to plan their robots. And so digital twin applications are absolutely immediate. And then remember, robots has several kinds. There's the physical robots that you saw, and a physical robot would be a self-driving car, and a physical robot could be the car itself, turning it into a robot, so that it could be an intelligent assistant. But I demonstrated probably in my estimation, the largest application of robots in the future, and it's avatars. We built Omniverse Avatar to make it easy for people to integrate some amazing technology, from computer vision to speech recognition, natural language understanding, gesture recognition, facial animation, speech synthesis, recommender systems, all of that integrated into one system and running in real time. That avatar system is essentially a robotic system, and the way that you would use that is, for example, the 25 million or so retail stores, restaurants, places like airports and train stations and office buildings and such, where you're going to have intelligent avatars doing a lot of assistance. They might be doing checkout, they might be doing check-in, they might be doing customer support, and all of that could be done with avatars, as I've demonstrated. And so the virtual robotics application, digital bots or avatars, is going to be likely the largest robotics opportunity. So if you look at our licensing model, the way it basically works is that inside Omniverse, each one of the named users, and the named users could be one of the 20 million creatives or 20 million designers, the 40 million creatives and designers around the world. When they share Omniverse, each one of the named users would be $1,000 per user per year. But don't forget that intelligent beings or intelligent users that are going to be connected to Omniverse will likely be much larger as digital bots than humans. So I've mentioned 40 million, but there are 100 million cars. And these 100 million cars will all have the capability to have something like an Omniverse avatar. And so those 100 million cars could be $1,000 per car per year. And in the case of the 25 million or so places where you would have a digital avatar as customer support or checkout, smart retail, or smart warehouse, or smart whatever it is, those avatars also each individually be a named account, and so they would be $1,000 per avatar.
That's
per year.
crazy. I mean, I just hearing
And
Jensen talk about like the future, and
those are
really
the
leads people
immediate,
to like
tangible
robotic kind of automation,
opportunities for
artificial
us,
intelligence
and I
with these
demonstrated the
avatars,
application.
the overall market that it's
during the
producing.
keynote.
This is
And
still
then,
multiple
and then
years,
of
but
course,
it's just crazy to hear
behind
his
all of
mindset
that,
about it.
the call it a couple of 100 million digital agents, intelligent agents, some of them human, some of them robots, some of them avatars.
In all honesty, if you want to do like something revolutionary and kind of get into a nice market, learning things like what Omniverse is kind of doing, AI avatars and stuff, can probably give you a nice
NVIDIA
future
GPUs
work
in PC,
security.
NVIDIA GPUs in the cloud, and NVIDIA GPUs in Omniverse servers. And
Earnings are out right now, KK, and they were amazing. Here's just a quick relapse of them. This conference call is live. Yep.
Licensing part of it will probably be about half of the time, but this is really going to be one of the largest graphics opportunities that we've ever seen. And the reason why it's taken so long for this to manifest is because it requires three fundamental technologies to come together. I guess four fundamental technologies to come together. First of all, is computer graphics. Second is physics simulation, because we're talking about things in worlds that has to be believable. So it has to obey the laws of physics. And then third is artificial intelligence, as I've demonstrated and illustrated just now. And all of it runs on top of a Omniverse computer that has to do not just.
So it's funny, Jensen just mentioned the four technologies that were needed, right?
Graphics, but all of it.
And when he mentioned that, I thought of two companies right away. The first company I talked about was Unity, kind of doing that real-time solutions, that physical, physical sense of the world. The second company I talked about was UiPath, kind of doing that robotic automation system. That is probably a very early stage of what is happening right now. The two companies that I kind of thought about while he mentioned that.
Query and interact with people and avatars and things and places, and all of these things are in 3D. So hopefully one of these days that we'll try to realize it as fast as we can. Every transaction that goes over the internet touches a GPU, and today that's a very small percentage, but hopefully one of these days it'll be a very, very high percentage. I hope that's helpful.
That was a great question. He gave that answer on the one question. Hey, how should we see Omniverse in the next 12 months? He went on like a 10-minute talk spree.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. Jensen, it seems like every year there seems to be a new set of demand drivers for your accelerated processing ecosystem. There's gaming, then neural networking and AI, and then blockchain, and then ray tracing. And if like 5 or 6 years ago, you guys showed a bunch of virtual reality demos, which were really exciting at your analyst day. Excitement died down. Now it seems to be resurfacing, particularly with Omniverse avatar capability and Facebook shining a light on the opportunities. So the two questions from that are,
I don't know. There's certain investors,
how close is your Omniverse avatar to morphing into like a mass market technology that everybody uses daily? If you talk about like you've said that everybody's going to be a gamer, is everybody going to be everybody's going to be a Omniverse avatar user? And maybe the bigger picture is it reasonable to think about a new killer app coming out every year? Is there a parallel that we should think about with previous computing markets that we could think about for the computing era that we're entering right now? Thank you.
Yeah,
agree.
I really appreciate that.
Great. Jensen just shares a great insight of his mind.
Chips are enablers, but chips don't create markets. Software creates markets. I've explained, over the years that accelerated computing is very different than general purpose computing, and the reason for that is because you can't just write.
Hey, I lost sound. Did anybody else lose sound? Sound down.
And have it be fast.
You
can't do that for computer graphics. You can't do that for artificial intelligence. You can't do that for robotics. You can't do that for most of the interesting applications in the world. And because we've really run out of steam with CPUs, I mean that people are saying that not because it's not true. It's abundantly clear that the amount of instruction level parallelism that we can squeeze out of a system is, although not zero, is incredibly hard. It's just incredibly hard. And there's another approach, and we've been advocating accelerated computing for some time, and now people really see the benefit of it. But it does require a lot of work, and the work basically says for every domain, for every application, you have for every application in large domains, ideally, you have to have a whole stack. And so whenever you want to,
what the heck is that?
You have to come up with a new stack. And the new stack is hard because you have to understand the application, you have to understand the algorithm, the mathematics, you have to understand computer science to distribute it across, to take something that was single-threaded and make it multi-threaded, and make something that was done sequentially and make it process.
That's a great point he made. He said chips don't make jobs, software makes jobs right now. Right now it's a market where softwares are the ones creating the new technology.
It takes a fair amount of expertise, and that's why we say that over the years, over nearly the course of 30 years, we've become a full stack company because we've been trying to solve this problem for practically 3 decades. And so that's one. But the benefit, once you have that ability, is that you can open new markets. And we played a very large role in democratizing artificial intelligence and making it possible for anybody to be able to do it. Our greatest contribution is I hope when it's all said and done that we democratize scientific computing so that researchers and scientists, computer scientists, data scientists of all kinds, were able to get access to this incredibly powerful tool that we call computers to advance research. And so every single year we're coming up with new stacks, and we got a whole bunch of stacks that we're working on, and many of them I'm working on in plain sight.
And this is crazy, right? With Nvidia, you can see for pretty much the whole year from 2020 to 2021, the stock price was so quiet, and out of nowhere, it just kind of skyrocketed.
And you saw the pieces of it being built over time, and it took half a decade to start building Omniverse, but it built on a quarter century of work. In the case of the Omniverse avatar, you could literally point to Merlin, the recommender, Megatron, the large language model, Riva, the speech AI, all of our computer vision AIs that I've been demonstrating over the years.
You guys think it can open 320 tomorrow? That'd be crazy.
Natural speech synthesis that you see every single year with I Am AI, the opening credits, how we're using, developing an AI to be able to speak in a human way so that people feel more comfortable and more engaged with the AI. Eye tracking.
So is there anything you guys are keeping your eyes on that you didn't like this earnings?
Technologies all kind of came together. They were all being built in pieces, but we integrated it. We had the intentions of integrating it and to create what is called Omniverse Avatar. And now you ask the question, how quickly will we deploy this? I believe Omniverse Avatar will be in drive-thrus of restaurants, fast food restaurants, checkouts of restaurants, in retail stores, all over the world within less than 5 years. And we're going to use it in all kinds of different applications because there's such a great shortage of labor.
That's pretty crazy. So he's saying that kind of digital avatars will be in stores within the next 5 years. I think now the great question is, what are going to be some companies that are going to be helping build that besides Nvidia?
It's always on. And we made it so that it's cloud native, and so when you saw the keynote, I hope you'd agree that the interaction is
Mamba, let me show you the video.
And the conversational forum is so enjoyable, and so anyways, I think what you highlighted is true. One, accelerated computing is a full stack challenge. Two, it takes software to open new markets. Chips don't open new markets. If you build another chip, steal somebody's share, but you can't open new markets. And it takes software to open new markets. And NVIDIA is rich with software, and that's one of the reasons why we could such large market opportunities. And then lastly, with respect to Omniverse,
so Mystical Mamba, so this is what he's talking about, this avatar. He believes the artificial intelligence robotics will be used in a lot of like hospitality platforms. So here in the fast food place,
For our next
you have
question, we have
avatar
CJ Muse
or this
from
kind of digital
Evercore
artificial
ISI.
intelligence robot
CJ, your line is
making
open.
solutions, and it's actually
good
making
afternoon.
eye
Thank you for taking the
contact
question.
with the
And I
customer,
guess
talking,
not
and
an
kind of
Omniverse
offering
question, but I guess Jensen,
proper
I'd like your
food that they
commitment
might
that you will
enjoy.
not use Omniverse to target the sell-side research industry. As my real question, can you speak to your data center visibility into 2022 and beyond? And within this outlook, can you talk to traditional cloud versus industry verticals, and then perhaps emerging opportunities like Omniverse and others? Would love to get a sense of kind of what you're seeing today, and then as part of that, how you're planning to secure foundry and other supply. To support that growth. Thank you.
Thank you, CJ. First of all, we have secured guaranteed supply, very large amounts of it, quite a spectacular amount of it, from the world's leading foundry and substrate and packaging and testing companies that are an integral part of our supply chain. And so we have done that, and feel very good about our supply situation, particularly starting the second half of next year. And
so Mystic Mamba, the difference between this is it seems like right now, kind of like Siri and all these voice recognitions, they are programmed to answer based certain responses. These would be like more conversational AI, where you can kind of go off the book and just kind of mention anything, and they would know the proper answer to go about it. And they would also use your prior information to dictate the new answer.
About half of our data center business comes from the cloud and cloud service providers, and the other half comes from enterprise, what we call enterprise companies. And they're all in all kinds of industries. And about 1%
What's going on, Real One?
From supercomputing.
Destroy them. Sure.
So 50% or so cloud, 50% or so enterprise, and 1% supercomputing centers. And
I don't know. I think the actual stock price is like $300. Destroy them. I don't know if the actual stock price is 100 or 150.
To scale out their deep learning and their AI workloads really aggressively, and we're seeing that right now. We built a really fantastic platform, and number one, number two, the work that we've been doing with TensorRT, which is the runtime that goes into this server that's called Triton.
Oh, what's going on, Trey? I see you changed your name.
One of our best pieces of work. I'm just so proud.
It's legal something, right?
And we said nearly 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, that inference is going to be one of the great computer science challenges, and it's really proven to be so. And the reason for that is because sometimes it's throughput, sometimes it's latency, sometimes interactivity, and the type of models that you have to inference is just all over the map. It's not just computer vision or image recognition. It's all over the map, and the reason for that is because there's so many different types of architectures. There's so many different ways to build different applications, and so the application is complicated. And Triton is just a wonderful piece of work, and we're now on our 8th generation on that. It's adopted all over the world. Some 25,000 companies are now using NVIDIA AI. And recently at GTC, we announced two very, very big things. One, we reminded everybody that we just months before we had Triton support not just in every generation of NVIDIA GPUs, of which there are so many versions. Could you imagine without Triton, how would you possibly deploy AI across the entire fleet of NVIDIA servers, NVIDIA GPU servers that are all over the world? And so it's almost an essential tool today, just to operate and take advantage of all of NVIDIA's GPUs that are in data centers. Two, we support CPUs. And so it's no longer necessary for someone to have two inference servers. You can just have one inference server. And because the NVIDIA version is already essential, now everybody could just use Triton, and every single server in the data center could be part of the inference capacity. And then we did something else that was a really big deal at GTC, which is this thing called Forced Inference Library. It's called PHIL. But basically, the most popular machine learning systems and inference models are based on trees and decision trees and boosted gradient trees. And people might know it as XGBoost. And it's used all over the place in fraud detection, in recommender systems, and they're utilized in companies all over the world because it's self-explanatory. You can build upon it. You don't worry about regressions. Just keep build bigger and bigger trees. And
I agree. I'd be surprised if it gets to those levels.
This GTC, we announced that we support that as well. And so all of a sudden, all of that workload that runs on CPUs, not only do they run on Triton, it becomes accelerated. And then the next thing that we announced with the tremendous interest in large language models, Triton now also supports multi-GPU and multi-node inference, so that we could take something like an OpenAI GPT-3, a NVIDIA Megatron 530B, or anybody's giant model that's being developed all over the world in all these different languages and all these different domains and all these different fields of science and industries. We can now inference it in real time. And I demonstrated it in one of the demos. There was a Toy Jensen.
This is one thing I'm not too familiar with, the GPU Trident programs. Something I have to look into later on.
And so that is just a giant breakthrough. And these are the type of workloads that's going to make it possible for us to continue to scale out in data centers. So back to your original question, I think next year is going to be quite a big year for data
it's
centers.
An inference serving software that's needed for
AI
learning.
Customers are very mindful of securing their supply for their scale out. And so we have a fair amount of visibility, and more visibility probably than ever of data centers. But in addition to that, Triton is just seeing adoption everywhere. And then finally, our brand new workload, which is built on top of AI and graphics and simulation, which is Omniverse. And you saw in the examples that I gave, these are real companies doing real work. And one of the areas that is
this guy's
severe shortages
visionary
around the world is customer support. Just genuine severe shortages all over the world. And we think that the answer is Omniverse Avatar.
Omar, no problem. Appreciate the support, man.
It runs in data centers. You could adapt Omniverse Avatar to do drive-thrus or retail checkout or customer service, and I demonstrated that with Tokyo, a talking kiosk. You could use it for a teleoperated customer service, and we demonstrated that with Maxine. We demonstrated how you could use it even for video conferencing.
I mean, we can see there's one key concept Jensen keeps talking about, and that is the avatar future within the next few years. That's pretty much all he's really focusing on right now.
To create a concierge, what we call drive concierge for your car, turning it into an intelligent customer support intelligent agent. And so I think Omniverse Avatar is going to be a really exciting driver for enterprises next year. And so next year is going to be we're teaming up for a pretty terrific year for data centers.
I mean, this Omniverse Avatar can actually be your co-pilot as cars
for our
becomes
next
more
question, we
more
have
smart, they'll be
Stacey
more
Raskin
useful.
from Bernstein
So
Research.
huge
Stacey,
market,
your line is
drive-through
open.
hospitality, cars, everything.
Hi guys, thanks for taking my questions. I wanted to ask two of them on data center, both near term and then maybe a little longer term. On the near term, Colette, you suggested guidance into Q4 will be driven by data center and gaming, and you mentioned data center first. Does that mean that it's bigger? If you could just help us parse the contribution of each of those into Q4, and then into next year. Given the commentary for the last question, again, it sounds like you've got like a very strong outlook for data center, both from hyperscale and enterprise. And if I look at sort of the implied guidance, we give our data center for you is probably likely to grow 50% year over year in this fiscal year. Would it be crazy to think, given all of those drivers, that it could grow by a similar amount next year as well?
If you want to listen to the call, click the link, guys, and we'll be leaving in 2 minutes. I have another meeting at 6.
The drivers that you've been laying out.
Okay.
But make
Thanks,
sure to
Stacy,
subscribe,
for the
guys.
question.
I'll definitely do an
Let's first
update on earnings. I'll do like a nice 10, 15-minute video on earnings and explain some of these
Our
key
statements
names
that we
as well.
made were, yes, about driven by revenue growth from data center and gaming sequentially. You can probably expect our data center to grow faster than our gaming, probably both in terms of percentage-wise and absolute dollars. We also expect our CMP product to decline quarter on quarter to very negligible levels in Q4. So I hope that gives you a color on Q4. Now, in terms of next year, we'll certainly turn the corner into the new fiscal year. We certainly provide guidance 1 quarter out. We've given some great discussion here about the opportunities in front of us, opportunities with the hyperscalers, the opportunities with the verticals.
I think, guys, what we really need to think about is how these avatars, what are some industries and what are some software providers that can help create that masterpiece that Jensen's kind of talking about. Like I mentioned, 2 that I think about right now are Unity and UiPath. But if you guys have any others, feel free to let me know.
So much of this opportunity going forward. But at this time, we're going to wait until next year to provide guidance.
Got it. That's helpful. I appreciate it. Thank you.
For the next question, we have Vivek Arya.
All right,
from
guys,
Broker
I'm heading out. Take care.
Securities.
Have a good
Your
day,
line's
and see
open.
you all next